So today we're going to talk about terminating and repeating decimals. So take a moment to copy down those vocabulary words, please. If you need more time, go ahead and pause this. Write each fraction or mixed number as a decimal. There's multiple ways that we could solve these. Okay? The first is if it's over 100, then this would just be 74 hundredths, which would be 0.74. I could change 20 to 100 by multiplying it by 5. So that would give me 35 over 100, which would give me 35 hundredths. So 0.35. Our next one is 4. If we multiply that by 25, that'll give us 100. So we have to multiply the top by 25. So that gives us 5 and 75 hundredths. So that's 5.75. Another way to solve this is division. Your numerator divided by your denominator. So top number divided by bottom. 100 goes into 74 0 times. So I put my 0, a decimal, and I add a 0 down here. 100 goes into 740 7 times. So that's 700, whoops, 700. I have 40 left over, so I'm going to add another 0. 100 goes into 400 4 times. So when working these out by hand, these are two ways that you can solve them. You could change it so your denominator is over 100, or your denominator is 100, or you can just divide them. If you're using a calculator, if you're using the calculator that's been assigned to class, the TI-30 XA, then you have that fraction, the ability to make fractions on here and to convert them to decimals. Okay. So either way would work. It's important to know without a calculator how to solve these as well, but make sure you know both ways. Okay, so pause this and take a moment to try these on your own. Okay, so 3/10, that's over 10, so that makes it pretty easy. So it's going to be 0 point in my 10th spot. I'm just going to put 3. 3 over 25, I could multiply this by 4. 25 times 4 is 100. 3 times 4 is 12, so this will give me 0.12. And C, this is going to be -6. 1/2 is one that you should know off the bat. 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. Those are some that you're going to use a lot. 1/3, 2/3. And so those are important to make sure that you're aware of those already. So this is going to be -6.5. -1/2 or -6.5 is -6.5. Okay, copy this down. Write 3/8 as a decimal. Okay, so for this one we can't change 8 into 100. So I'm just going to have to divide. 3 divided by 8. 8 goes into 3 0 times. But it goes into 30 3 times. That's 24. So I subtract, I get 6. I bring down to 0. 8 goes into 60 7 times. And that gives me 56. I have 4 left over, so I add another 0. And 8 goes into 40 5 times. And then I've zeroed out. So 3/8 as a decimal is 0.375. Okay, so we're just dividing with these. Right, -1/40 as a decimal. So this is going to be 1 divided by 40. I'm going to put my negative up here so I don't forget that my answer is negative. 40 goes into 1 0 times. It goes into 10, 0 times. It goes into 100, 2 times. That's going to be 80. With 20 left over, add another 0. 40 goes into 200 5 times. And that zeroes out. So we've got negative 0.025. That is negative 1/40th as a decimal. Okay, and now write 7/9 as a decimal. So we're going to divide 7 divided by 9. 9 goes into 7 0 times, so I add a decimal and another 0. 9 goes into 70 7 times. That gives me 63. I subtract this, I get a 7, add a 0. What do you notice? This is just going to repeat. So I'm going to write this as 0.7 with a bar notation over the 7. That means that that 7 is repeating. So here's a little trick with 9s. 1/9 is going to be 0.1, the bar notation over the 1. 2/9 is going to be 0.2, the bar notation over the 2. 3/9, 0.3 with a bar notation. 4/9, 0.4 with a bar notation. You see the pattern? 0.5 repeating. 6/9. Oops, kind of put 2 little lines there. It's going to be 0.6 repeating. 7/9 we already did, and 8/9 is 0.8 repeating. Okay. Once you get above that, it gets a little bit different. So if you have the numbers 1 through 8 over 9, it's just going to be your numerator repeating. So it's kind of a little shortcut, something easy. If you remember that, it'll make it easier for you so you don't have to divide it out. Go ahead and pause these and take a moment to try these on your own. So we write each fraction or mixed number as a decimal. Use bar notation if needed. So for D, this is going to be 7 divided by 8, so that's negative. 8 goes into 7 0 times. It goes into 70 8 times. That's 64. There's 6. It's going to go into 60 7 times. So 8 times 7 is 56. Gives us 4. Goes into 45 times. So we have negative 0.875. Number 2, you should get 2.125. For 3, you should get negative 0.27. But both the 2 and the 7 repeat, so your bar notation goes over both of those. And for G, you should get 8.3 repeating. Okay, every terminating decimal can be written as a fraction with a denominator of 100, 10, 100, 1000, or a greater power of 10. Use the place value of the final digit as the denominator. Find the fraction of the fish in the aquarium that are goldfish. Write in simplest form. So take a moment to copy this down, please. Okay, so we want to look at goldfish. So it tells us 0.15 is the amount. So I'm going to take I'm just going to write that over here. So I'm going to take my 15 and put it over 100 because this ends in the hundredth spot. So now I need to simplify this. Both of these can be divided by 5. So 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. So there's my simplest form. Now we're going to do the exact same thing for the molly, guppy, and angelfish. So go ahead and take a moment and pause this and figure out what those fractions would be. Okay, for the molly, because it only goes to the 10th spot, you just need to put 2 over 10. And that's going to simplify to 1/5. For the guppy, it goes to the 100th spot, so it's going to be 25 over 100, which simplifies to 1/4. And for the angelfish, again, it only goes to the 10th spot, so that's going to be 4 over 10. Divide both by 2, and that gives us 2 over 5. Okay, that's it for this lesson. If you have any questions, please let me know.